So, Rabbi, we're in the Parshas of, feels that way, what's going on in our life, but we're in the Parshas of Yakov Avinu. So I want to talk about something more general about Yakov Avinu, not a specific a story in his life. I also want to talk a little bit about Mashiach, which we're all hoping for shall come in Meher V'Yameinu, especially with what we're dealing with in our days. Every day is some other tragedy, other bad news. Like I told the guy, the girl that was killed today was actually my daughter's friend, a classmate, and starting to get a little bit overbearing, this whole entire situation. Starting to get a little jaded, a little tired from it, no? Anyway, so hopefully we'll have some type of Yeshua, Meher V'Yameinu. So we're going to talk again about Yakov and Mashiach. We'll try to make a connection and put Eliyahu Navi in there. So we have a pasuk in Chukaisai. Over there, it's at the end of the Teicha, and it says over there, "V'zachartes brisi Yakov." Hashem said, at the end of the day, things will be good. I'll remember the covenant with Yakov, and Mashiach or Geula will be there. So if you look at there, famous Rashi, it says Yaakov there with a vav. There's an extra vav. It's written Yud Ayin Kuf Vav Beis. So Rashi says, what is the vav doing over there? So Rashi says over there are 5 places that in the Navi, in Malachim, when it talks about Eliyahu, right? He's a prominent figure in Malachim. So over there it says Eliyahu in 5 places without a vav. It's missing a vav. It says Aleph, Lamed, Yud, Hey. And there are 5 places that vav sort of was taken hostage. Right? I don't want to use those words today, but that's what it was. Yaakov sort of kidnapped the vav, and he put it in his name. So that's why you'll find this extra vav in Yaakov's name. So why in the world is Yaakov holding the vav of Eliyahu as ransom? This is Rashi. Rashi says, "Aravoin she'ivasegul banav." It's a security. It's collateral. He says, Yaakov says, "Eliyahu, I ain't giving your vav back." Eliyahu says, "I need my vav back. I'm getting in trouble. I need my vav back." Yaakov said, "I ain't giving it back until you announce the Geula of Banav, until you bring Mashiach, until you come." You know, Eliyahu is going to be a prominent figure when Mashiach comes. He's going to be the one who announces it, the herald of Mashiach. So he says, Yaakov says, "I'm not giving back the vav. I'm not giving back the vav until you bring Mashiach, until you announce proclaim the coming of Mashiach." Okay, very nice, Rashi. But the question is we want to say there's something a little bit more deeper going on over here. The vav, Yaakov takes the vav from Eliyahu. You know, it sounds like sounds cute and everything, but we want to say that there's something obviously something very deep going on over here. So I'm going to say something over from the Rabbeim that I heard from Chaim Blin and from other people, basically from the Parsha, basically. So he starts off, which is a very important yesod, very, very important yesod. We know that Machinations and Masechta Seifrim brings down that the Torah has many, many different levels. So sometimes we say Torah has 7 panim l'Torah, sometimes we say 49 panim l'Torah, sometimes we say in a general way, we say Pardes, we say there are 4 panim l'Torah, there are 4 aspects or manifestations of Torah or levels of Torah, planes of Torah. Right? As we know. Shimon Panim Torah, Pardes, Pirish, Remez, Drash, and Side. Fine. So, whenever you talk in Lashon Kodesh, there is always the danger that in your mind you're going to translate it in a way that applies in your secular, regular lifestyle. For example, here we're talking about Pshat and Side. Pshat and Side. Some things of the Torah are pshat, and some things of the Torah are secrets or drash. So, in regular lifestyle, regular day-to-day life, what does that mean? So it means usually it talks about the medium of how you relate something to someone. For example, someone I don't know, just lost a job. And he's a little bit embarrassed about it. So he tells his close friends, don't tell it to everyone. And don't say it out loud. So some people you could say it to, some people you could reveal the secret to. So whether his friends reveal it to the whole world, which should be being openly in candor and openly revealing it, or whether they reveal it quietly and only to some people, that's just the medium. The fact is the same. The fact is the same. The fact on the ground is that the guy lost his job. That's the fact is the same. It's just a question of the medium, how you relate it. You could whisper it. You could say it out loud. You could reveal it to some people. You don't reveal it to other people. So, but the fact is the same. It doesn't make a difference how you reveal it, whether you reveal it openly or secretly. The fact, it all has to do with something that happened in this world. Did he lose a job? Yes. So you think the same thing when you talk about side, when you talk about, something the Torah pshat and something the Torah side. Our first understanding is, it's the same thing. The facts are the facts. Sometimes the Torah says, say it openly, reveal it to everyone. Sometimes the Torah says, it's not for everyone to know about this. This is something that not everyone has to know. Whisper it, give it over to only a certain amount of people. But that's just the medium. That's just who you relate it to, and that's just how you relate it. But what we're talking about, the actual fact, that's irrelevant. It doesn't change the actual fact, right? That's the way you would think about the same thing when you deal with Torah, when you deal with the pshat and sod. It's just a question of who you reveal it and how you reveal it. But the truth is that's not what it is at all. In Torah, when we talk about pshat and sod, we're talking about different planets. We're talking about different planes of reality. For example, we find, the Chumash says, this is from the Moral, we have a story with Moshe Rabbeinu that when he was thrown into the sea. So who rescued him? The daughter of Pari, right? Basia rescued him. Here. Fine. It says over here, Vatayid Bas Pari Lichois Hayar. Bas Pari went down to Beis. V'nareseh holchois al yad hayar. And she went with cadre. She went with her entourage, her retinue, right? Okay, very nice. And then they said they saw the Tavan, and Batya said save Moshe Rabbeinu. So the Gemara makes a drush of v'nareseh holchos al yad hayar. That's really referring to that they died. Narseh holchos ayad hayar means that her maidservants or entourage, they all died. And Rashi actually brings this down. This is Rashi, Gemara in Tainus. Rashi brings this down. And Rashi says, Lashon Misa, we find hoylech means Misa, like Isa says, I am going to die, and he sees like a Gzeir Shava, hoylech. And Rashi says, because really the whole thing is a little extra over here. Like who cares? The maidservants went with Bas Para. She was with maidservants. She wasn't with maidservants. Who cares? So it's alluding to the fact that they all died. The Gemara says, I mean, they all died because they were telling Basia, don't save Moshe Rabbeinu, don't save the babies. Obviously, it's a child from the Jews, and your father said they all got to die, and therefore God took care of them, and made sure they all died. Okay, beautiful. It says the morale, they didn't actually die. They didn't actually die. When it says that they died, it means their counterpart in a different world died. We all believe that, okay, we're here on this world, but we all believe that there's a representative of each of us in another plane. Our neshamas, learn, only a teeny bit of our neshamas in us, and really it's somewhere, most of our neshamas somewhere else. So there are all different types of worlds and all different types of realities. Sounds like something like science fiction, right? But anyone who learned any Chassidus, any Kabbalah sees this all the time. There's all different types of worlds and all different types of planes. And what we do on this world, our counterpart, right, actually does the same thing in a different world, but it has a different effect. It looks differently. So when it says over here that the maidservants of, or the maidservants of Bas Pari died, it doesn't mean he died in this world. It means they died in a different world. They lost their koyach. They lost their koyach ha'elyon. That's the way the Moral points at the mazel elyon. They were basically incapacitated. They were taking away their strength in a different world. And since they died in that world, that's why in this world, they didn't have strength anymore to protest against Bas Pari. Right? So basically, the truth is, if you were like looking at the story, you actually would not see the maidservant saying one word to Batya. You wouldn't see them saying, oh, let's get rid of Moshe, and Batya would say no, and then they would die. You wouldn't see anything. You would just see them going very nicely along with Batya, not saying one word. But the Torah is revealing over here, but in a higher level, in a higher world, what really was happening was that these maidservants wanted to remonstrate, wanted to protest, and God killed them in the higher world. And the Maral says, this is the reason why it doesn't say it opened the Chumash. This is the Yesod of the Maral. Why didn't it say it opened the Chumash? Why didn't it say in the Chumash? Okay, the maidservants protested, and God killed them. Well, it doesn't say it openly. It's a drasha. It's just a drasha. The reason why it's a drasha is because it didn't happen in this world. When you have a drasha of this sort, it connotes it didn't happen in this world. It happened in a different world. And that's why it's a drasha. Because the Olam Pshat in this world, none of this happened. But it did happen in a different world. And that's why the medium, the way the Torah conveys something actually tells us where it happened and which world it happened. So basically, that's what I'm trying to tell you over here. So, like the case. Oh, a guy lost his job, whatever. Oh, say it in the secrets, reveal it openly. The guy lost it, whether he tells you to say it openly, whether he tells you to say it secretly, it doesn't really pertain so much about where this happened. Where did he lose his job? He lost it here. So the question is, who should know about it? Who shouldn't know about it? So again, we see Kabbalah the same thing, or say the same thing. It's just a question, who should know about it? Who should not know about it? Some secrets you reveal, some secrets you don't reveal. It's much more than that. When you're dealing with drush, when the Torah tells you it's a drasha, that means it's not happening in this world. It is actually happening in a different plane, in a different world. And that's why, so the message, the medium conveys the locality, the place of where this is happening. Right? So this is a very important yesod. With this yesod, you can answer up many, many different questions. For example, the famous question that we have two midrashim that seem to contradict each other. One midrash says that until Klal Yisrael said Shira on the Yam, no one ever said Shira. The first one to ever say Shira to God was Klal Yisrael by Shir Sayam. Really? Everyone knows the famous medrash that when Adam Rishon met Cain, a whole story is there, he did the tshuva. What do Adam Rishon say? Mitbashil Yom Shabbos. The famous medrash. So it says Adam Rishon said Shira. So why does it say, it's a famous question, so why does it say that Klal Yisrael was the first one to say Shira? It's not true. Adam Rishon said Shira. Everyone has all different types of answers. But the answer is that the question is a mistake. In this world, the first time someone said Shira in this world was Klal Yisrael. How do we know that Adam Rishon said? Shira Mitzvah Shabbos? It's a drush. It's a complicated drush over there. It's a drasha. It doesn't say it openly in the Chumash. You ever learn Parsha Does it say there that all of a sudden the Adam started lighting candles of Shabbos and started eating cholent and the Mitzvah of Shabbos? It's not a pasuk in the Chumash. It's a drasha, right? So since it's a drasha, that says that Adam Rishon didn't actually do it in this world. Some representative or some counterpart of Adam Rishon in a different world did it. Meaning maybe Adam Rishon in this world had some type of concepts of some sorts, but he didn't actually say a Shira. He didn't actually say it out loud. For we know, maybe it was only in the subconscious. In a different reality, in a different world, where the counterpart of Adam Rishon, there he actually said Mitbashil Yom Shabbos. So that's why there's no stira. In this world, the first time that Shira was said was by Shir Sayam. In this world, this time we said that Adam Rishon said Shira. That's in a different world. That's a different reality. That's like a different zone. Okay, a parallel world. Now, where do we see this most manifestly? We see it by Yakov Avinu, because everyone knows the famous Gemara. One of the famous Gemaras that everyone likes to quote. Rabbi Yochanan walks in one day to yeshiva and says, "Good news, Yakov Avinu loy meis." The Tefillah said, "Really? Yakov Avinu loy meis? Where is he? Really?" The Tefillah say, "Wait, one cop to pick in second. What do you mean Yakov Avinu loy meis?" It said hopefully they took him that he was embalmed and he was buried and they did a hesped and they eulogized him and they buried him. So what was going on over there? Who did they turn into mummy? Like who did that happen to? Right? So he said back, "Well, Mikrani Doirish. I have a drasha that Yaakov Avinu did not die." And he brings a drasha here based on a pasuk that it equates Yaakov to Klal Yisrael. Makashul Mazari b'chaim, Afu b'chaim. I'm not going to read the whole pasuk, but basically he said over there, it says Klal Yisrael next to next to his children, and next to Yakov Avinu, and just like Klal Yisrael is obviously still alive today, so also Yakov Avinu is still alive today. A drasha based on a pasuk in there we go, in Fine. So everyone says, okay, great. You got a drasha that Yakov Avinu didn't die, but they buried him. They embalmed him. They eulogized him. And that's what the Gemara goes on. The Gemara great, okay, got a drasha, fine, now, great. Well, he didn't. How can you say Yaakov Avinu loy meis? How can you say Yaakov Avinu loy meis? So, but that's the answer. That's the answer to the question. He answered the question. There's no more question anymore. When he walked in, Rabbi Yochanan walked to the Beit Medrash and said Yaakov Avinu loy meis, they thought that he meant literally, he didn't die. So like, yeah, it's open pasuk, he didn't die. It's clear Yaakov Avinu didn't die. He said, what? How can you say the pasuk is not that way? He did die. He said, no, I didn't mean he didn't die in this world. It's a drasha. I have a drasha that he didn't die. What does that mean that I have a drasha that he didn't die? It doesn't mean that he didn't die in this world. It means in another world that is the counterpart of Yaakov Avinu, that Yaakov Avinu didn't die. So obviously for regular people when they die, many other counterparts in other worlds also seem to cease to exist or seem to have any type of productivity or able to do things. But Yaakov Avinu is not that way. Yaakov Avinu, even though he died in this world, but in a different world, he's still alive. So that's how he answered the question. What was the question again? Isn't Yaakov Avinu, what do you mean he's dead? What do you mean he's alive? How could it be? They buried him and they eulogized him and they turned him into mummy. So he said, it's a drasha. I didn't say pshat. It's a drasha. And in the world of drash, the counterpart world of drash, Yaakov Avinu is still live, well, and kicking, right? So it's hard for us to understand this. But I always say, so it comes like this. So there are 70 panim of Torah. Some say there's 613 panim of Torah. There's 600,000 panim of Torah. There's all different midrashim about how many levels there are in Torah. But what we're saying over here, it's not just levels of Torah. Or different. I'm saying it comes out there different worlds. Each panim, when we say there are four panim in Torah, that means there are four different dimensions in reality. Maybe we don't see that reality, but it's there. So we're not just talking about interpretations, we're talking about different worlds. I always say, that's why I always like, sometimes I start thinking about, why did God make so many stars? Like, what the heck? You know, what do you need them for? You know, what's the purpose of this all? I mean, you know, what's the purpose of this all? I mean, I also have, why did he make so many ants? I got a lot of questions about God. You know, what's going on over here? So I want some interpretation to just give you this message. You think it's only this world and that's it, and nothing else going on. God just made all these billions and zillions. Now they have a new telescope, even more advanced than the Hubble. I forgot what it's called. A new telescope. God just made all these worlds to tell you one thing. I forgot it's not a big deal to make all these worlds. So it didn't take it too long. Just to get you just to get you this idea. What's the idea? You should know that there's so much more out there, so many more realities, so many more planes, and in each of these planes, there's a representative of you. Right? That's one of the big things why you want to learn Kabbalah. One of the big things you get out of learning that stuff is that they say, okay, now you do an Avera, very bad, you go to hell. No. But when you learn the Kabbalah, they describe you many different worlds, and they describe how when you do this, it affects this world, this world, that world. It makes it more, how would I say, more potent or more manifest. That what you do has effect on so many different things in so many different areas, right? So, like I said, that's what I believe why God created the stars. Maybe there's some other reasons, but I'm not privy of that. But you have that type of concept, that type of idea. Okay. So now we have a little bit of a better understanding of what's going on here with Eliyahu Navi and Yaakov Avinu. This part is going to be a little bit difficult. We already said that this that Yaakov Avinu didn't die, what does it mean that Yaakov Avinu didn't die? He did die. In this world, in the Olam HaPshat, he did die. He just said he didn't die where? In the Olam HaDrash, right? So fine, whatever that means, the Olam HaDrash, dear Yaakov Avinu is still alive. But we find one person in history who what happened to Yaakov Avinu in the Olam Hadrash actually happened to him in the Olam HaPshat. There's one person that Yaakov Avinu loy meis, he's immortal. It actually happened to one person, not in Olam HaPshat, not in Olam Hadrash, not something that we actually saw it. It was manifest. Who was that person? Very good. You guys are quick, right? In Eliyahu Hanavi, because that's what we saw. It says they're opening the Navi. Eliyahu did not die. He went up to Shemayim per se, but he took a taxi, a get, and he got up to Shemayim alive, right? So let's get a little bit of understanding about this. What is the importance of that fact? What is the importance of that fact that Eliyahu Navi actually never died, and his relationship to Yakov? So first, we know from the Psukim that Eliyahu has two jobs. At the end of Malachi, right? We say, Hine noiches shleichem Eliyahu Navi, lefnei ba yom Hashem agadol ha'neira. Eliyahu is going to do Tchis and Mason, open Gemara in Avodah Zarah. Eliyahu is going to be the one who does Tchis and Mason. Fine. Then it says, V'heishav leivavos, it's a famous song, V'heishav leivavos al bottom, v'leiv bottom al havoisam. So we all get teary-eyed about that. Yay, he's going to make shalom. But everyone in the family, all the black sheep in the family are going to come home, and all the pariahs and all the strains in the family. Everyone's going to hug and kiss and get makeup and go visit Mashiach together as a happy family. That's the way we hey, Shalev Avos Albanim, right? You got the kid who went off the derech, the father went off the derech. All going to come together, and it's all going to be wonderful. That's the classic understanding. Hey, Shalev Avos Albanim, v'lei banim alvaisam. We want to say that no, this is not. There's actually a connection. It's not just two separate things. The Heishlev Avatar Banam V'lei Banam Avatar is actually how Eliyahu Navi does Tchias HaMesim. It's not two separate things that he does Tchias HaMesim or facilitates Tchias HaMesim. He's the one who proclaims Tchias HaMesim. It's actually connected. Why? Because it comes out like this. Just like in when you come to Drash, right? So when you come to Drash. So there is, in the Torah itself, there is a remez. There is some word in there that alludes to it, like here. It doesn't say that she died. It doesn't say that the maidservants died. But it uses a funny language. So from the funny language, we could have sort of surmise or learn, hinting to something. So every drash has its manifestation in the pshat. In the words, there's some extra letter, some extra the inflections, the way it's written. There's something there that tells you about the drash. So also, it happens to be every drash, meaning everything that's happening in the world of drash, in those upper worlds, has to have somewhere a manifestation also in this world. So the drash of Yaakov Avinu, where is that manifestation, that little hint to it? That's by Eliyahu Navi, because Eliyahu Navi never died in this world. Now, so why is it only a little bit? It's the whole thing. Yaakov Avinu didn't die in that world. Eliyahu Navi didn't die in this world. So it seems to be not just a hint to it. It seems to be exactly a parallel to it. No, because the answer is very simple. Yaakov Avinu is the father. And when we want to say Yaakov Avinu loy meis, that just doesn't mean that he's immortal. Whatever happens to the others obviously happens to all the bottom. Because whatever happens to Yaakov Avinu is it just has to be magnified. It's just a mirror of what happens to all the bottom. So when we say Yaakov Avinu loy meis, we're really saying that no one in Klal Yisrael dies. That's really what we're saying. So that's the drash. But we know people die. We know Yaakov Avinu died too. But in the Olam HaPshat, there was at least one son, one teeny chelik of Klal Yisrael that actually never died. Who was that? That's Eliyahu Navi. So the drash of Yaakov is parallel in the world of the Pshat by Eliyahu Navi. Again, it's not that the whole drash is brought down to this world, because the whole drash should be, first of all, that Yaakov Avinu himself came back to life, and more than so, whatever happened to Yaakov Avinu has to happen to the whole entire Klal Yisrael. Oh. But now we have a understanding. When we say Heishalev Avos al Banim, it actually means two things. When we talk about a drash, you have to know, all these drashes, and all these amazing Kabbalistic secrets, and all these hidden treasures that we don't see but we believe, you have to know something. When Mashiach comes, they're all going to come down. They're all going to be here. They're not going to be drash anymore. They're all going to concatenate. That's a nice word. Concatenate. They're all going to come down actually at the end of the day. Right? That's what's going to happen. All those drushes, all those wonderful drushes that you hear and about all the secret world and who knows what and this world and that world and what's going on up there. And we're like, okay, wow, that sounds great. It's actually going to be manifest in this world when Mashiach comes. It's lovely. It's all going to be there. So the drash will come eventually when Mashiach comes. It will come to Pshat. In other words, the drash of Yaakov Avinu Lo Meis will actually come down when Mashiach comes in this world. How it will manifest? No one will die. There'll be Tchias Mesim. Everyone will be immortal. Because again, the drash of Yaakov Lo Meis is not just Yaakov Lo Meis. Yaakov is the father, so it has to be everyone doesn't die. So when will it come down to fruition that everyone doesn't die? When we have Tchias Mesim. So in other words, another way you could say it is the drash is the Av, the drash is the father, the Pshat is the Banim. Right? Because the father is a potentiality, is something that's supposed to create a family, supposed to bring to fruition. The banim is the actual manifestation, is the actual fruition. So you understand it? So it comes out that the word av and banim could mean the drash is the av, the pshat is the banim, and it happens to be over here, the av over here is actually Yaakov Avinu, and the banim is actually Klal Yisrael. It actually, we say that the Av and the Banim are Drash and Pshat. We all could say it could mean Yaakov Avinu and Klal Yisrael. It actually, they go hand in hand. Because the Drash is Yaakov Avinu Lo Meis. The Pshat is that no one should die ever. No one from Klal Yisrael should die. Right? So that's, and Yaakov Avinu is the Av, and the Banim are Klal Yisrael. So that's what's going on over here. That's what we want. Heishiv Lev Avos Al Banim is we want the Yaakov Avinu Lo Meis to actually manifest itself in this world by Tchias Mesim. That's all it is. So Heishiv Lev Avos Banim. It's not some random thing. Eliyahu, no, he's going to make everyone get together. It's going to be b'shalom. No, that's not it. Heishiv Lev Avos Banim is to bring this concept of Yaakov Avinu Lo Meis in the drash world to bring it down into the pshat world. That the Yaakov Avinu Lo Meis will actually happen to all of Klal Yisrael. Right? So who's going to do that? That's a big jump. That's a big jump. That's these lofty concepts of someone not dying, that Yaakov is immortal in another world should actually manifest in this world for all his children. Like we said, Yaakov really represents the father, and it happens to happen to all the children. Who's going to make that connection? Eliyahu Navi, he's the one, he's the man. Because he already did it. He already, even before Mashiach came, even before Tchias Mesim, he actually did it. He actually personally was able to turn the drash into pshat because he never died. He was immortal. So he was the one person who, even in Gullus, or even before there was a Mashiach, who turned the Av into the Ben. Heishiv Lev Avos Al Banim, right? He was the one person who did that drash, Yaakov Avinu Lo Meis, and it manifested in his life. It's not enough because it's got to be in all the Banim. Like we said, Yaakov Avinu represents all the Banim. Correct? But he actually did it. For whatever reason, his sitkis. So he's the man. He's the man to be the bridge. He is the man to say, just like I did it, now when Mashiach comes, we're going to all do it, and we're all going to become immortal. He's the one who's going to turn that drash into the pshat. He's the one who's going to take Yaakov Avinu Lo Meis and all the Banim Lo Meis, right? He's going to be doing a Heishiv Lev Avos Al Banim, Lev Banim Al Avosim. Now we know why Yaakov Avinu takes the Vav from Eliyahu Hanavi. It's not random Yaakov Avinu takes the Vav. Why didn't Yitzchak take the Vav? Why didn't Avram take a Vav? And why is it a Vav? The answer is now all clear, because the Vav is the Ois HaChibor. What is a Vav? What is the main? It connects. That's what the word Vav is, like a hook. The main function of Vav in Hebrew is to connect. That's what Eliyahu Hanavi does. That's what he does. He connects Yaakov Avinu with Klal Yisrael, the bottom, Heishiv Lev Avos Al Banim, the connection, and that connection will bring about Tchias Mesim. That's why it's not random that it's a Vav. It's not random that it's Yaakov Avinu. So now we know why Yaakov Avinu takes the Vav. And when Tchias Mesim comes, Yaakov Avinu says, you can have it back. I don't need the Vav no more, because now my name is Yisrael for eternity. Once Mashiach comes and Tchias Mesim, no one's going to call Yaakov anymore. His name is going to be Yisrael, like in this Parsha, it's called Yisrael. But nowadays, we're back and forth. Yisrael, Yakov, right? Because we're never steady. We're not immortal. One day this, one day that. One day we're feeling good, one day feeling bad. We're up and down. We wake up for Seder. We don't wake up for Seder. Whatever's going on in our life, it's Yakov and Yisrael back and forth, right? But in Las Love, when Eliyahu does his job, and Yaakov's loy mace is actually manifest, and everyone's immortal, and there's not going to be any of this back and forth. So then Yakov says, "Here, take the vav back. I don't need the vav no more. You can have it, because my name is Yisrael forever. When Mashiach comes, no one's not allowed to call him Yakov anymore." So, I just want to end with one little thought. I've already had a big thought, so a little thought about this. I always felt that this entire concept is something extremely important, especially for me. I always tell you, I don't know if I ever told you guys that I went to, when I go traveling once in a while, so I remember going, I was in Atlanta, the big hub over there. I remember I was standing on top of the escalator over there. I was looking down and there was hundreds of people, so packed, so many different people. And I'm there wearing my hat with my tie and jacket. I felt like I was walking out of a Western, like a cowboy walking out of, like anachronism walking out in the middle. And I was thinking, I remember I hit myself, wait, we're right. And all you guys are, it's all about us. It's all about us. There are 8 billion people in the world, and they're very smart people. They're not known, they're very smart people in the world. And there's a heck of a lot of beauty in the world, art, and a heck of a lot of wisdom. I always felt it's a little presumptuous. Over here eating out Ohr Somayach, a nice building and everything. But you go to these campuses, these campuses are like cities. This is like nothing. This is like a shed compared when you go to these major campuses. I always felt like, wow, we're really hoarding. It's all about us. It's all about us. That's right. It's all about us learning about the shar falling into the bar. That's what it's all about. Come on, it's all about the mevatel shliach or not when you give a get. It's just like, really? You're living in some type of fantasy or something. Come on, look what's going on in the world. Wake up. 8 billion people. A lot going on, a lot of beauty, a lot of knowledge, right? So I always felt that that's why in this week's Parsha, what do we see in this week's Parsha? Yaakov Avinu, he comes to Esav. He sits there. He looks like a nebuch. Mamash a nebuch. Yeah, a servile. He comes and sends him matanis. He's bowing down to him. What? Right? He looks like, his mom looks like a loser over there. What's going on over there? He looks so pathetic, so kowtowing. He just looks so fawning to it's just like, what's going on over here, right? It don't look good. It don't look good. But what preceded the story of Yaakov Avinu? What happened right before that? Yaakov Avinu meets this malach, the malach of Esav, and he beats him. Fair and square. He beats him. Right? And the malach says, "You're right, you won." I always felt that story of the malach and Yaakov, Hamachlik is where it happened in this world, in a different world. But even if it happened in this world, if we say it happened in this world actually, it was, God wanted to show Yaakov that there's the drash world or these other worlds, and then there's this world. Yeah, in this world tomorrow you're going to sort of look like a nebuch. In this world tomorrow, you're going to look like that you're just like a servant or just subservient and servile to Asa. But that's not really. There's another world. And that world you already won. You won. You're the king. You won. Why in this world it's going to manifest itself differently? Not for now. Why it is that way. But you should know. Don't let what you see, because you're so impressed by 8 billion people, and you're so impressed with all the technology, and you're so impressed with all the arts and literature and science, blah, blah, blah. That's what you see in this world. Okay, you're very impressed. Let's look. In their world is 1 trillion billion killion Jews, and they're running the show, and every mitzvah is building these skyscrapers that make Dubai's skyscrapers look like little huts. And in the other worlds, the Jews, every mitzvah they do is unbelievable, and who knows what it's creating over there. And the goyim, or whatever, what they're doing in this world, doesn't look like it. It looks like it's dust in the next world. It has absolutely no effect. It has a very teeny effect. So, Yaakov in this parsha, before the story of Esav, God wants to get this message clear. Doesn't matter what it looks like in this world. You have to know there's many, many more worlds. And it's a total different story than all the other worlds. So don't get so impressed by how savvy or how snazzy and how smart the goyim may look and what they're dealing with. In this world, it's maybe a shore falling into the bar. But in the next world, that shore falling into the bar is a whole entire universe, a whole entire empire. And I always felt that was the message that the Torah was giving us by the story of Yaakov and Esav. And that's what we're seeing over here in this Pachis, like I said before, from the world of Drash and the world of Pshat. And the Mir Hashem, the world of the Drash should actually turn into the world of Pshat. And all of these wonderful ideas that we out there, we're talking theoretically, the world of Drash should actually be manifest. And we should see it with our Eine, Basar V'Dam, with our actually physical eyes, should all be brought down over here. Amen.